to my YouTube channel. Let me sit properly. Flip. Your girl literally came back from Liches, like, oh, fit check. Fit check. Now I have to move back. I was wearing stockings. I was wearing this cute dress. And this ascot. And I was wearing stockings with like black tackies. But I took them off because ain't no way, bruh. Ain't no way, bruh. Ain't no way, ain't no way, ain't no way, ain't. Anyway, back to the video. So, sorry, let me just, actually, what am I doing? Hi, my love. How are you? How was your day? Just take this moment, calm yourself, and I'm calming myself too. Breathe in. And out. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm not gonna call it a podcast yet because your girl she's still considering it. She's still thinking about it. You know, I feel like this is like a personal journey for me as well because I'm just discovering myself as a YouTuber, as someone who's influencing people, because I never thought I'd ever influence anyone, but you know, my friends are like, no girl, do it. And I'm so happy to be hearing from you guys, from some of you guys. The whole reason I am filming today is because I've been thinking about this topic. So someone commented, I'll tag her in my description. She commented about self-esteem and decentering men, and I was like, decentering men, and I was thinking about it the whole day. Let me just take this off because your girl has been in this the whole day, and wow. And I was just like, decentering men is an interesting one. I know it doesn't add to the but like, your girl is tired. Decentering men is an interesting one, but I feel like you'd rather focus more on decentering people, because men, it depends on which context you are talking about, whether it's in romantic relationships or friendships. It depends, because I feel like in our lives we were taught to center people, to cater to people, so you'd rather focus more on decentering people rather than decentering men. But I'll go into that topic. I'll go into like both. So I don't know about you, but growing up there was always someone who I had like my focus on. Let me go into like the whole relationship thing. So like, there's always like a person that I'm eyeing. I feel like it's also in the things we watch as well, like in movies and TV shows. There's always like a romantic thingy. I would say thingy, but there's always like a romance, someone wanting someone, a relationship. And I feel like as society we focus more on idealizing relationships and idealizing people in our lives, that we don't really focus on being present and being present in the moment. You know, like you watch people in relationships. Like, I remember like in high school, ooh, I said that. I remember in high school, most of my friends were like in things, in situationships and relationships. They were in situationships that were going well for them, and I was just like, when will that happen for me? You know, I wasn't focusing on my own growth and development. I was focusing on, when am I going to experience this with someone? I feel like I was focusing more on the experience rather than the actual person. I was sexualizing the guys I was talking to way too much, and I was inevitably giving them my power in a sense, because you give because like you can give people your power without you knowing it, and without them, and without like face-to-face interaction, you be giving people your power because you be giving them your attention. They know they have a chokehold on you. So it's really more of what you give instead of your focus. Now that's not right. I didn't structure that right. It's more like what you give to people, you know. That's why I said in the last video, boundaries are very important. Boundaries on yourself and your relationships with people, and what's serving you and what's not serving you. You have to think of in context of people instead of in context of man, because I feel like when we talk about relationships, guys, when we talk about relationships, guys, right? I feel like it's so much more of a game to people nowadays than an experience that people share with one another. You know, relationships are supposed to be special. They're not supposed to be a game. You're not supposed to be like, I'm pulling this person. No, it's not supposed to be like that. It's supposed to be about two people connecting, two partners connecting, being there for one another. It's not supposed to be something for attention, something just for sex, something that's just, you know. It's supposed to be an intimate relationship with you and that person and source, if you have said source, right? So when we as a society idealize that, we sort of break away the whole purpose of a relationship, whether it is for marriage or just to find someone that you connect with, but also growing more as a person. Because I feel like when you think about relationships, you have to think about, am I in the right place myself to be in a relationship that I want? You know, you have to think future tense. You have to think about the life you want with the person you want. You have to think about, are you in the right position now? If you, let's say your future person finds you and is like, hey, I want to get married, you know, and we're going to live the life that we want. Are you as a person, the person you are now, are you in the right state of mind? Are you in the right place to accept that, to say yes, to be like, yeah, okay, you know? Do you know yourself enough to say that? But I feel like I'm shifting away from the whole decentering men thing, but I feel like it's more of knowing who you are as a person. Because I feel like, okay, don't get me wrong, okay, how can I say this? Society idealizes but men are also sexualized, right? But in idealizing men, how can I say this? For me, like celebrity man crushes, you know, that whole thing, it bores me. It's like that whole thing of, oh my gosh, it's like that whole fan crush thing on One Direction. It feels cliche for me, because it's like, it's one thing to find a guy attractive, it's another thing to be completely obsessed over him, sorry. And it's just like, where do you cross, where does it become an attraction, and when does it become an obsession, you know? That's why I just get bored whenever I see one of these what's it called one of these fan accounts with all these male models. First of all, they're models. That's not what a man looks like. Well, an average man looks like. They are models, okay? Models who post on social media, whatever. And you have to shift your perspective. Instead of being like, oh my gosh, she's hot, but think about, hey, why is he posting things like that? I feel like it's also about perspective. But anyway, let me get back to what I was asked. Because I feel like I'm saying so many things, but they inevitably tie into one thing. They tie into one thing. And it goes for the same thing for guys. Because women are also overly sexualized. And it also, when does it become an obsession, and when does it become finding someone attractive, you know? because there are also fan accounts for female celebrities that aren't just, you know, a selfie, whatever. Like, women are also like overly sexualized as well. So it's a bit of a debate, and it's a bit of a difficult thing to talk about, but you have to think about yourself as a person, and you have to think practically and realistically about how you view people, you know, and how that energy is influencing your life. Because, hey, the energies influence a lot. Let me get back to what was being asked. I tend to yap. Hey, I tend to yap. Your energy, what you give out, also influences what you receive. So you have to think about that a lot. Yeah, a lot. And with the whole decentering men, you have to shift your focus. You have to focus on your own personal growth. You have to focus on who you are. You have to want to grow. You have to want to learn. You have to want to educate yourself. You have to want to be self-aware about what the media is feeding you with regards to men and women, because it's a two-way thing. Also, guys also go through what girls also sometimes go through. I'm not gonna say that there's a higher gender, there's a higher sex. We all go through stuff that is difficult to talk about, and we all have different perspectives on things, but in the same context, we all need to think about ourselves as people, and we all need to decide, okay, when do I get to a point where I just want to focus on me? I just want to focus on my own growth. I want to educate myself. I want to learn more about myself. You know, I don't just want to focus on this person, I don't want to go into a relationship and then out into another one. I don't want to do that. You have to get to a place where you're just like, okay, it's enough now. And my love, as much as you can start again as many times as you want to, you have to get to a point where you just like, I'm fed up. I'm tired of starting again. Why can't I prove to myself that I can do the things that I want to do? I can be the person that I've always dreamt of becoming, that I keep seeing myself as. You have to get to that point in your life, because the life you want is there. Is there, is there, is there. You just have to work hard to get it, you know? And you just have to shift your focus. You have to shift your focus. I used to be, I have to write down my dilemmas and then I'll share them with you, because wow. Because I also centered men. My focus was on who can be my spouse. You know, it's either your focus is on who can I get next, or your focus be on like who's gonna love me, who's gonna touch me, who's gonna make me happy, who can I talk to, you know? Because I feel like as much as you want that, you just don't wanna not be alone. You just don't wanna be alone, you know? And you can find happiness in being alone. I just feel like people don't understand that, because people don't want to be alone. You have to talk to yourself. People always forget about themselves, which is really sad, because you get into a relationship not knowing who you are, and then you give so much to that other person, and it just becomes all about them. You don't feel like you have a voice. You're just trapped in this thing and you don't know how to get out. Well, my love, you need to know who you are first. You need to know who you are. That's why being alone is so important. Oh, I used to be bad, guys. When I tell you I used to be bad, I used to be delusional. I used to be so delusional about men. About, no, he cares about me. No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't. He doesn't. If he wanted to, he would show you through his actions. Yo, guys, I will write down my dilemmas. They're not even dilemmas. They're just like old stories, because no, we're not doing that. We're all about me, okay? And I feel like even if, like, let's say you go to school with this person, girl, eye contact, really. Oh my gosh, we touched hands. Okay, um, really? Uh, what's next? Did Beyonce just walk past? Like, make it make sense. You have to make it make sense. So, in closing, my love, just shift your focus. Shift your focus on improving your connection with your specific religious practice. Shift your focus to educating yourself. Shift your focus to loving yourself. This is about decentering people, not just men. I want to emphasize that so much because I have a few guy friends that have been through hell. Like, you won't believe how hurtful women are. Puff, you can, because you've seen the behind the scenes, but they've been through hell with these women, and now they're just focusing on themselves. They're just focusing on them. They're on their own stuff. So you just have to shift your focus. Shift your focus on improving and growing and learning. And I know, guys, I know school is tough because uni is terrible. It's terrible, but you have to think about, who am I doing this for? And you have to think about education as you learning and growing and educating yourself and your mind, because your mind is a beautiful thing, and there are not many people that have what you have. There are not many people that have the ability to go to school to learn. They are stuck in dead-end jobs. They are stuck in rural areas, and they may never go to school, and they want nothing more than to go to school. So you have to think about that as well. You have to think about, oh my gosh, that could have been me, but I am here. I am learning. I am growing. I go to school. I have teachers. I have lecturers. I have the ability to read. I have the ability to write. I have the ability to speak fluently. I have the ability to speak multiple languages. You have to be self-aware. I can't emphasize that. I can't. Like, you have to be aware of your surroundings, about yourself, what you can do, because you be putting pressure on yourself. No. You be hurting yourself. No. Why are you doing that? For what? For what reason? Just because you think you're not good enough. My love, you are more than enough. You're alive. You think, you breathe. You're gorgeous. You're beautiful. Please, don't do that. Why are you doing that? You have the ability to write. You have the ability to learn. You can walk. You can see. You have skills. You have talent. Own up to that. Honestly. We don't give credit to ourselves enough. So, guys, please shift your focus away from people, because even if it's not a romantic interest, it's your friend group. It's about impressing someone. So it's not just about decentering men, it's about decentering people in your life, because it's also family. I will write down my scenarios. But anyway, I hope this helped you a lot. I hope you listened to me. I'm still trying to figure this whole thing out, so this is a learning experience for me, as well as you listening to me speak. But guys, this is the end of my video. I'm sorry for the way the other video ended. I had some trouble editing. Like, I had some trouble converting the files and doing everything, and I was supposed to post it on Monday. I I had trouble with that. But I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope that you found this helpful. Please focus more on improving your skills. Focus more on being present. It's all about shifting your focus and setting boundaries for yourself and people in your life. That's how you will decenter men and people, your family, your friends, because at the end of the day, it's between you and source. Okay? It's between you and source, because people be blocking your blessings and you don't even see it because you won't shift your perspective. But anyway, I hope you found this helpful. Please leave a comment, comment on what you want me to talk about next. I really like this topic. I was thinking about it the whole day. That's why I just came to res and just like, okay. But anyway, love you. Bye. Mwah.